Hi, my name is Richard Brunson. I'm Director of North Carolina Baptist Men, and I want to talk to you for just a moment about the importance of the North Carolina Missions Offering. First of all, if you're already promoting and giving to the North Carolina Missions Offering, thank you very much. It's vital, and you probably already know that. But if you and your church have not contributed to the North Carolina Missions Offering, I want to tell you a little bit about what happens in a typical week and what that missions offering makes possible. The theme for this year's missions offering, the logo, has two hands on the front, and the verse, release, relief, and redemption, comes from Luke chapter 4, verses 18 and 19. This is where Jesus said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because He's anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed, to proclaim the favorable year of the Lord." If you look at the life of Jesus, He ministered with both hands. One hand was relief. He cared about the physical needs of people. There was healing for the sick. There was food for the hungry. Jesus cared about people's physical needs. He also cared about people's spiritual needs. And there was release that Jesus offered, release from sin that holds us in bondage. Jesus ministered with both hands, and we're called to minister with both hands as well. I want to share with you some of the ways the North Carolina Missions Offering allows us to minister with both hands. This week is a pretty typical week in our office. Volunteers are serving in North Carolina, across the U.S., and even around the world. We have volunteers working in Pamlico County, helping homeowners who lost their homes during Hurricane Irene. We had over 500 volunteers who were trained in a disaster relief training this weekend. Other volunteers are working on our 2 medical dental buses this week, ministering with both hands to hurting people. Volunteers are working at Red Springs Mission Camp and the Shelby Mission Camp. Because of the North Carolina Missions Offering, you can take a group from your church and stay at either of the mission camps for only $21 a person a day. That includes your lodging, 3 meals a day, and supplemental insurance. This is made possible because of your gifts to the North Carolina Missions Offering. Volunteers are working at the Pender Prison this week, building a chapel for prison inmates. Other staff and volunteers are preparing for summer deep impact projects and camps at Camp Caraway. In addition to that, other volunteers are involved in aviation missions, Baptist educators projects, sports projects, wheelchair ramp construction, and much more. The hands of Christ across North Carolina. The North Carolina Missions Offering also allows us to be the hands of Christ across the United States. This week, disaster relief volunteers are serving in Oklahoma, assisting homeowners who lost everything in the tornadoes. Those volunteers are cooking and cleaning and working with the homeowners to find valuables that might have been left, or keepsakes like pictures that might be left in the rubble of what used to be their home. Because of the North Carolina Missions Offering, you're the hands of Christ in Oklahoma, and you're the hands of Christ in places like New York and New Jersey, where volunteers are working this week to help homeowners who lost their homes during Hurricane Sandy. Volunteers are also working in the Appalachian coal fields this week. Teams are working in West Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky. There'll be about 1,000 volunteers who serve in the Appalachian coalfield region this year. Other volunteers are serving in Pennsylvania, Vermont, the Rocky Mountain region, and Hawaii. Those are just some of the ways the North Carolina Missions Offering allows us to be the hands of Christ across our nation. But the North Carolina Missions Offering also helps us to be the hands of Christ around the world. This week, volunteer teams from North Carolina are serving in Honduras, Guatemala, Cuba, Haiti, Kenya, Armenia, and Hungary. A typical kind of week, dozens of different projects, and hundreds of volunteers using both hands to serve Christ. And all of this, plus much more, is made possible by the North Carolina Missions Offering. Thank you for praying, for giving, and for going.